And then it seems like the minute that we think we got the game in control, and that's the thing that will get you beat more than anything, is when you think you have the game in control and you start getting away from what got you to where you got to, and then all of a sudden, here they come. Here come the Detroit Lions. Goff starts to get comfortable. He starts to get in the rhythm, and next thing you know, boom, they got a game, and it's fight on again, where it should never have had to be that way.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the start of another Eagles season and the new Pond Lehocky Eagles postgame show. We are live right here from Ocean Casino and in Atlantic City. We're live on 6abc.com and YouTube JAKIB Media Sports Network. I am Mike Missinelli, and I'm honored to be working with my partners today. The great Derek Gunn, of course, been covering Eagles for a long time, and all-pro linebacker Seth Joyner. And guys, a rather bizarre game in that we thought the Eagles were in control and it was going to be another routine Eagles win. And here come the Lions with a couple of fourth quarter touchdowns to make it really interesting. And the Eagles needed two really big first down conversions to lock this one up. What did you guys see?
Well, I had said on the pregame show, one of my concerns going into this game was the fact that the first team offense and defense didn't get many reps in preseason, and I thought they would come out and have a little bit of rust. They seemed to get rid of that rust real soon after Detroit went down and struck first. But then you could tell that especially the defense, this bend but don't break mentality, Seth, man, I'm going to have to take a lot of stomach medication before this season is over if this is the kind of defense we're going to have to watch the rest of the season.
Well, listen, I told you guys that it's just not in Jonathan Gannon's DNA. I was shocked because I tweeted during the game. I was like, was that a zero blitz that I just seen Jonathan Gannon run? And excuse me, he blitzed a couple of times. But where you can really make hay is when you get a quarterback like Jared Goff, who's pressure adverse, and you can apply that pressure and you can really get some good things done. But there is no way in the world you can tell me that offense is good enough with DeAndre Swift, Hockenstein, and one wide receiver, and they put 35 points up on this defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Is it possible, and I'm looking at this game, and it looked like the Eagles had it well in control, is it possible that they relaxed a little bit, they relaxed defensively, and they played that bend but not break defense instead of taking chances to let them back in the game quickly?
No, listen, I feel like in the first half, in the first quarter, I should say, they felt the pressure. I think Jonathan Gannon felt the pressure of having Detroit take the ball, right down the field. DeAndre Swift on that first series, he had 6 carries for 77 yards, and he capped it off with a touchdown. They come back the second series, and Jonathan dials up a couple of blitzes. Right. And now he applies the pressure, and Jared Goff is a little bit rattled. Now the offense kind of gets on track, and they start to make some things happen. We tie the game up, then we get an interception and go up by a touchdown on Bradbury's return. And then it seems like the minute that we think we got the game in control, and that's the thing that will get you beat more than anything, is when you think you have the game in control and you start getting away from what got you to where you got to, and then all of a sudden, here they come. Here come the Detroit Lions. Goff starts to get comfortable. He starts to get in the rhythm, and next thing you know, boom, they got a game, and it's fight on again, where it should never have had to be that way.
The thing that killed me the most was once Gannon began to dial up more pressure, you could tell that Jared Goff does not handle the pressure well, which led to that interception by Bradbury to take it to the house. Then all of a sudden he goes back to this 4-man rush, and you let the Detroit Lions creep back in the game, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you have all of this talent up front in your front seven, Why are you not utilizing it to the best of the ability? And the thing that kills me the most is they had one quarterback sack against Detroit, and that was on a fluke play when Goff dropped the ball and Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham converged on him.
Well, this is going to be an ongoing story about what the Eagles have to do defensively, and we all assumed that they were going to be different this year with better personnel. They were going to be better against the run. They were going to blitz a little more, be a little more aggressive. It didn't turn out that way in this game, but maybe the big lead shaped that, and of course we'll talk about that. And there's some very good and some bad things in this game. So let's first talk about the good. T.O. is back in town, all right? A.J. Brown, an amazing debut for the Eagles, 10 catches for 155 yards in this game, and he gives them a reliable weapon. They couldn't handle A.J. Brown. Now, conversely, Devontae Smith was kind of invisible, but I think the Lions decided to try to single up guys, and if they doubled A.J. Brown, Smith was going to hurt him. But what a debut, Seth.
Listen, there's no doubt about it. You know, we were talking about it in the green room as we were watching the game. I said that A.J. Brown is worth all 100 million that they extended him for if he's going to play like he played today. And you know, the issue is I'm waiting the entire time. I'm waiting for the Detroit Lions and Aaron Glenn to go and double him and take him away, which then opens up the entire field for everybody else to eat a little bit, and they never did it. And it seemed to me that, and a lot of people I've been following on Twitter, we've been talking about it, a lot of people have been saying, hey, you know what? You know, why isn't Jalen spreading the ball around? Well, he had a mismatch. Anywhere that A.J. Brown lined up today, it was a clear mismatch, and there wasn't any question about it. So until they adjusted, hey, we always say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Go back to the well as many times as you can go back if they're not going to adjust to it. They didn't adjust, and he had a hell of a day.
Well, here's the other question, and we have to address this because the two questions coming in were, did Jonathan Gannon influence defense and would it look differently? And also, Jalen Hurts. Always going to be the topic. So Aaron Glenn decided to come out and blitz the heck out of him early. And when he did blitz, and I thought he got off it a little bit, Derek, when he did blitz, it looks like Jalen's first instinct was to get out of Dodge. And Seth, we were talking about this. Sometimes you just have to kind of stay in there and find the hot receiver.
Well, a lot of times, see, and this is the part of it all, you know, you got to really look at it and understand. If they bring pressure and they play zone behind it, okay, then he can stay in the pocket and he wants to scramble horizontally to give his receivers an opportunity to find the holes in the zone and come back to him. But if they're in man coverage and they're going to blitz, particularly if they're in zero coverage and he can get out, then of course you want to break the line of scrimmage and take off, because if it's single high safety, by the time that guy realizes, you know, that what's going on, he's 20, 30 yards back. Everybody else is got their back turned in man-to-man coverage, so now you can take what you can get. But there are times, I believe, there are times like late in the game, you know, I believe it was 3rd and 7, and they came with a blitz, and Jalen escaped. Instead of him escaping and looking to pass the ball, he escaped and was looking to run the ball. And I think there was an opportunity there. But listen, it's the first game of the season.
Listen, it's a good thing, Derek, that he's got that ability to get out of there, because he stung them early on, and maybe that's why Aaron Glenn didn't go back to it. But what did you see with Jalen?
Yeah, the thing that I kept saying to Seth in the green room was, where's the hot read? Because Detroit basically was telling you, especially in the second half, they were going to blitz. Where's your hot read from your offense to keep your quarterback out of trouble? Because look at how many times Jalen had to run for his life, and in a number of cases just flipped the ball out of bounds, which was a smart move by him to keep from taking a quarterback sack. But I just didn't like the way the offense was structured in terms of countering the blitz. When you play a game, it's point, counterpoint. I didn't think the offense had enough counterpoints, and they allowed Detroit to creep back into this thing. Now, obviously, it's the first game, and I said at the beginning on our pregame show, if you're going to be rusty coming out, it's a good thing to play the likes of the Detroit Lions, because you can make your mistakes in this game and come out on top. I just didn't expect it to be this close.
I'll give the Lions a little bit of credit, because they did try to live up to their Hard Knocks image, where this whole tough guy and we fight and all that stuff, and they did fight pretty well. And we got to give a shout out to Philly native DeAndre Swift was a monster today. DeAndre, 15 carries, 144 yards, caught a few more balls for 31 more yards, 175 yards against the Eagles today.
Well, you know, I think one of the other problems you get into when you don't practice full speed is that when the game is live and the intensity level goes up the way that it does in the first week of the season, now all of a sudden you're playing at an intensity deficit. So as I'm watching this, that first series, I mean, DeAndre Swift just did what he wanted to do. Now, I realized he was a bad dude, but, you know, to have darn near 100 yards in the first half, yeah, that's unconscionable against this defense that's supposed to be that much improved.
So
with a linebacker.
Is this a shot at what they did not do in preseason? Because he does not like to hit in preseason. Conversely, the Lions really went after it. Is that a factor in a game like this?
Listen, let me tell you something. The Eagles can ill afford to give up 183 yards rushing a game, especially when you're playing against a quarterback who's not mobile. Can't do that.
How many tackles did we watch them miss in this game? I mean, that's ridiculous. Some of the poor tackling in this game. But then again, we expect that when you don't live practice tackling like Detroit did. They had a very rigorous training camp. It showed. And, you know, now you got to get that rust off. You got to get up to speed because a much better opponent is coming 8 days from now.
Yeah, so they looked at the lines. This line was originally 4 points. So we're here. We got the sports book behind us. We originally went up to 5.5, and it turned out to be a pretty close game, and that shows you how much they know about these games. But I'm curious to know what the carryover of a game like this. You want to get out of game one not injured and get out with a win no matter how it happens, and you see some flaws that you're going to have to correct. So 2 delay a game penalties. There was a 12-man on the field penalty. These little things have to get on. It can't happen. But they're okay, right? Are they okay?
Listen, I think, again, when you don't practice full speed and you don't play your guys in preseason, you know, you're going to have some lapses in areas it just comes with the territory. You know, you're going to have penalties. I'm looking here now. I'm trying to see exactly how many penalties they had, you know, throughout the game. But there was a couple of series that was basically stalled out, directly or indirectly, because of penalties. And
they had 10 penalties.
Well, I mean,
penalties.
That's way too many penalties, you know, if you're going to be successful. But to your point, Mike, listen, the offense is going to walk away feeling pretty good about themselves because when you can put up 38 points, and I know we're going to attribute 7 of those, you know, to the defensive side of the ball, but when you can put up 38 points, you got to feel pretty darn good about yourself. As a defense, if I played on the defense and we gave up 34 points, it'd take me a little extra time to get out of the locker room tonight.
Jalen Hurts, 17 rushing attempts. A lot of were jailbreak where he had to avoid a blitz. I get it. 17 rushing attempts for 90. It's the beauty of Jalen Hurts that he can do that. But again, we're looking at they wanted to reduce that coming into this year.
I don't want to see my quarterback carrying the ball 17 times in a game. I don't. It's athletic and as good as he is, and he can take the heart out of a defense by taking off and running. The last thing I want to do, look at the one unnecessary shot he took. I thought it was going to be a concussion protocol when he took that shot. So when you frustrate a defense like that, what's going to happen? They're going to try to take every shot they can at a quarterback like that. And even though they also got tacked on a unnecessary roughness penalty, do you want to put your quarterback in harm's way like that? Or more importantly, as I was telling Seth in the green room, I don't want to see my quarterback go down and clutch his knee because he cut one too many times trying to make a big play.
I'm gonna disagree, and this is why. Okay, you know that's who he is, so you can't extrapolate that out of him at this point in time of his career because that's who he is. That's what he does. Okay, look at the amount of first downs that he kept alive and how he got the team.
Well, that's all good, Seth.
I understand.
I think he's talking about a long haul situation where if you're running to your quarterback that many times, he's going to get banged up. This is not what this league is about anymore.
And listen, I get it, but I've seen quarterbacks get hurt standing in the pocket.
Absolutely.
As much as I've seen them get hurt outside the pocket. Now, I said, what was the magic number that I said in pregame, D-Gun? I said Jalen Hurts needs to throw the ball 30 to 35 times per game in order for this team to kind of figure out where he is. 5 times per game in order for this team to kind of figure out where he is. He threw the ball 32 times.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be upset with that. They ran the ball 39 times, and I know some of those plays you can slide over to the other side because they were scrambles that were broken pass plays that he turned into run plays. But at the end of the day, you can't be upset with 30-plus passes for a guy. And you know what else can we ask of him?
Yeah, but Seth, I can't be comfortable with you or my coaching staff telling me that's what Jalen Hurts is, because this is a part of the so-called maturation of Jalen Hurts.
And we're supposed to see it right now. We're supposed to see that maturation right now.
This is the definitive part of what we're supposed to see the next level of a Jalen Hurts. This is an evaluation by this organization to determine whether or not Jalen Hurts is a quarterback in the future moving forward. I get it. It's just the first game. We're going to see different things. They're going to look at the film. They're going to go back and adjust. But I don't want my quarterback running the ball 17 times, and I don't want to hear this is his makeup. Because to me, that's not the improvement I need to see to verify that he's a quarterback beyond 2022.
Well, I want to look at he was 18 for 32.
Yes.
Okay. They were bringing pressure. So to a certain extent, a lot of the times, it's not like there's a big difference, D, between Sirianni and Shane Steichen calling a called run play for Jalen Hurts and them calling a pass play for him. And because pressure is imminent right now, or no one's open right now, he has to run. You can't fault him for that, because at the other end of the spectrum, if he stays in the pocket and the pressure gets to him, and he got sacked once today, if we're sitting here and he got sacked 7-8 times, now we're talking about it on the other end of the spectrum.
Listen, we all agree it's a dynamic weapon to have, his legs, no question about it. And I'll tell you what else is dynamic. They found that slant to A.J. Brown, which to me will be unstoppable all year, because if you are going to adjust to that, that opens up so many other things. They couldn't. He's so big-bodied and quick off the jump that they couldn't handle it. And the safety's not going to be able to get over there quick. The linebacker's not going to be able to get it. That's an unstoppable play, that's all today.
Well, from a technique perspective, it is. If you're going to line out outside shade, if you're going to play man or you're going to play zone from the outside, all he's going to do is stem you outside and slant down inside. And that's the pitch and catch that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, they're going to complete that all year long. The only way that you stop that is you force his release by lining up inside and making him release outside. Now you take that away. But if you're going to make it that easy, and most teams in the NFL now, this is what they do, because they've been forced from a defensive personnel perspective where they have to play single high, where they're not playing the traditional man-to-man where they play inside technique anymore. They're playing outside technique. They want to force everything to the middle. But if you can run everybody off and get that guy across the face of the cornerback, that's an easy pitch and catch all day long.
I don't have a problem. I do not have a problem with Jalen Hurts running for his life out of necessity. My problem is with both Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen not seeing what Detroit's doing better in countering that, okay? Now, it's not like Detroit was disguising his blitzes. They were telling you they were coming.
Yeah.
You have to have a hot read. A.J. Brown could have had 300 yards receiving. Stick your foot in the ground, one time going to slant. You kill him all day. You want to back him out of that blitz?
I get you, my friend. I get you.
You see what I'm saying?
I get you. Sometimes it's about the adjustments that you make on the sideline and the adjustments that you make at halftime.
The coaching staff.
Aaron Glenn was really, really smart because, they came out the first series and they came after Jalen consistently in the first series. They didn't do it again until the end of the second quarter.
Absolutely.
And then they stopped after halftime and they didn't do it again till like midway through the fourth quarter. So now you can look at it one or two ways. They didn't really see it as that much of a deal because Jalen was escaping. Or you can look at it from the standpoint and say, well, they don't do a very good job of adjusting to what they see and giving Jalen, the weapons to be able to make the changes at the line of scrimmage to protect himself and put him in the right place.
Okay, do you agree that when Detroit decided to go back to the pressure, that was a significant reason they were able to get back in the game?
No doubt
Look
about
at how many times they made Jalen Hurts throw the ball away.
No doubt about
because there was nobody Look at that guy's wide open in the middle of the field the whole second half.
This, by the way, this show's got everything. We have Dr. Bruce who's coming on later, and we'll talk about. We don't have an injury report yet, but there were a couple of situations in this game. One where Jalen got his bell rung, and we thought it was going to be a concussion protocol situation, and the other, Miles Sanders got twisted. And I heard, Seth, you're watching the game. You go, God, please let him be okay, because it looked like that was a significant twist of his knee there on that one carry.
I don't know whether it was that yoga class, that Pilates class, or that stretch to win. I don't know what it was, but the way his knee was bent up on that play, I was like, oh my God, dude, just get up and walk.
So Dr. Bruce will join us later in the show. Devin's going to go out in the crowd. We got Lane Johnson coming up, so stay right there. One thing, let's talk about with the receiving situation, because Devontae Smith, you see a big goose egg on the board. Did not have a catch. Was targeted 4 times, but only a couple times early. And Dallas Goedert with only 3 catches. I think they've got to get the ball to him more. What did you see with Devontae Smith not getting the rock?
Well, I think they went to him early, and for some reason or another, things didn't pan out. He dropped the ball. Him and Jalen were kind of, they were off a little bit. But I still contend, and even though Dallas Goedert had, a couple of catches, he didn't get the amount of targets that I feel that he should deserve. So both he and Devontae Smith both got 4 targets apiece. I believe Dallas had 2 catches. Devontae had 0.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to be the norm. You can look at it like in basketball terms. If a guy's got the hot hand, you keep feeding him. And obviously, A.J. Brown had the hot hand today, and Jalen kept giving him the ball and giving him the ball and giving him the ball. I don't know how many targets he had, but I know he caught a whole bunch of balls. So at the end of the day,
he had 13 targets.
That's a lot of targets. So at the end of the day, is it about winning, or is it about who actually, who's getting the ball? I'm pretty sure that nobody on that team is upset at how many touches or how many targets A.J. Brown got today just because they won. But does he have to be more balanced in what he does? I would say yes, 100%. He has to.
I'm shocked sitting here looking at the box score, and Devontae only had 4 targets. You look at the discrepancy in the targets. You go from A.J. Brown with 13, and then you have Dallas Goedert, Kenneth Gainwell, and Devontae Smith all with 4 apiece. But so like Seth was saying, there has to be more of an equal distribution. When you have this many weapons, don't get one-dimensional, because people will use that against you.
All right, we're going to take a break. It's time for a break, and when we get back, Devin Caney will lead us into another spirited debate where, maybe we go at each other a little bit. I can tell you right now, Derek Gunn and I are on the side of Jalen not running the football against Seth, who doesn't care about it. But he'll kick our butt anyway, so we got to give it up. Coming up is a debate. And also, I don't want people to forget, today I know it's a football game at the start of the NFL season, but it's also 9/11. And obviously we want to keep that in our hearts and never forget that what happened on this day, and carry it with pride as Americans to never forget. All right, it is the JAKIB Media Pond Lehocky Eagles post-game show. We're delighted to be here, and it's going to continue right after this.